Hello, my most beautiful, beautiful angels, my lovely K-Bays. How are you guys doing today? I hope you're all doing amazing. I really, really do. Always. So today we're going to be talking about some crimes that Google Earth solved. Are you ready for this? So a man named William Moult would have been missing for 22 years before somebody spotted on Google Earth a little area in a pond that looked a little sketchy. And when authorities went to check it out, it turned out to be his vehicle and his remains were inside it. For 22 years they looked for him and he was in that pond. Apparently, they say that he drove into the pond. I don't know if he'd been drinking, if it was on accident, he just couldn't see very well or what. But very sad. So glad that they found him. I hate that it took so long, but pretty crazy. So, just for a quick little trigger warning, this does involve kids, this next little one here. Well, big one. In 2018, a video would circulate the internet that was from apparently Google Earth, and it was of armed men executing 2 women and 2 children. These women and these children would be led to a certain area while blindfolded, and then they would be shot 22 times by these armed men. So this is actually what happened. So the video was circulating the internet. Well, they used Google Earth to find the men is what happened. They looked on Google Earth, and by comparing like trees and buildings and stuff like that, they were able to locate where the men had done this, and they were able to find the men, and 7 men would stand trial for brutally murdering these 4 human beings. 72-year-old David Niles, who suffers from cancer and depression, would be seen leaving a bar and never seen again for 9 years. In 2015, Brian Hausman would be decorating a big outside Christmas tree using a cherry picker, and across the road, he would notice that there was something lurking in the pond. When Google Earth was checked, it actually revealed what was in the water, and it was another vehicle. And in the vehicle was David. And they identified him by his wallet. His son-in-law, Scott Hathaway, would say, "For us today, it is a closure from a long search. Why God waited 9 years, I have no idea. But we're happy. It's good to have him home." So in 2009, Switzerland drug cops would find something hiding in a cornfield. It was a big old weed plantation, and 16 people were arrested for it. There was over a ton of marijuana seized. Prosecutors would claim that it was a drug ring that was shifting through like tons of narcotics worth millions. In 2010, in Brooklyn, New York, on a street corner, 3 dealers would be caught dealing. The Google Earth vehicle would literally take a picture of them standing there yelling at the car. But just a little while later, an undercover NYPD vehicle would grab them and take them on to jail or prison, whatever, along with 4 other people. In 2011, in Oklahoma City, a woman's house would be broken into by 2 armed robbers who held her at gunpoint. The poor lady, who didn't want her identity to be revealed because she's so traumatized, and I can completely understand, said that it took over an hour and she thought she was going to die. The victim was devastated because there was literally no leads. They couldn't find anybody, and nobody was arrested for what happened. Well, in 2014, one of her friends would actually look up her home, the victim's address on Google Earth, and right in front of her house stood the robbers on Google Earth. And immediately police opened an investigation into it, and I don't know, but I hope they got arrested. In 2008, in Holland, a 14-year-old boy would be riding his bicycle down the road when two men would ambush him. Like, really? You have to ambush a little boy, and it takes two of you? Come on. These two men took the 14-year-old boy's phone, cash, and bike. So initially, the police couldn't help the boy. Like, there was just no leads. They didn't know who they couldn't find anybody. But 6 months later, the boy would be looking up his mugging spot where he got, attacked on Google Earth, and found out that the mapping car took pictures or video picture, whatever, of the area right before the incident. Authorities immediately contacted Google and asked them to unblur the faces of the two men in the photo. Well, Google did it for the authorities, and authorities noticed these two guys, these two brothers, right away. They were two 24-year-old brothers that were well known in the Dutch justice system. Bye-bye, boys. Now, I know I shouldn't laugh. I really shouldn't. But this one makes me laugh. Okay, just listen. So in green capital Athens, you have to have special permits in order to have swimming pools. So the government's financial crime investigators started using Google Earth to look into the matter more. And guys, there was over 16,000 pools that were not registered. Well, the government down there was cracking down on fraud at this time, so it was the perfect time. They went to everybody who had one of these secret swimming pools, and they made them pay up for all the back taxes or, all the stuff they had to pay to get it approved and stuff, But it's just still funny. It's not, crimes aren't funny. They're really not. But it's just kind of funny just to kind of think, this is kind of low. And 16,000 from 300, that's a lot of people being like, don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious. So one man in Italy would tell the authorities that he sold his villa for 280,000 euros. But when authorities looked up his villa on Google Earth and seen how large the land and the house and all that was, they were like, no, something ain't right. There's no way. No, come on, no, something ain't right. So they knew they had the right place because there was a unique shaped swimming pool, and they just knew, okay? Well, the selling price of this house was so high that this little scammer man that sold his villa or whatever for 280,000 euros owed over 7 million euros in taxes. A man named David Storrs had a caravan, and he was really devastated because after his drive around town, it had gotten nicked, and he literally had just gotten his last caravan destroyed by a joyrider who I guess stole it and took off with it. So he was really devastated. He got in this accident, and his last car was taken, and joyriders destroyed it. But his 11-year-old son looked up their home on Google Earth, and luckily on Google Earth, the little mapping car had drove by their house right as the stealer dude was out there. authorities asked Google to unblur the license plate and their faces or whatever, and 2 years after the incident, they did make an arrest. Crazy, crazy, crazy things. So guys, if you're ever on Google Earth just looking around, you just might witness a crime happening up on there. So, in your spare time, if you're ever bored and want to solve a case, get on Google Earth and just check it out a while. You might be able to. Thank you for watching this video. Sorry, the lighting's all weird. I didn't feel like setting up all my crap. But yeah, I just thought this was really interesting. The fact that Google Earth has solved so many crimes is just really cool, kind of, a lot of people have gotten lucky with Google Earth, having their back. So if you liked this video and you thought it was pretty neat, or at least like the way I told it or something, hit the like button. And subscribe if you like listening to stories, true stories about crime, missing people, murders, etc., etc., etc.